You ever wonder why Progressive is the third largest insurance agency here in the US? Well, it's because it's a fit for a lot of people, but is it a fit for you? Well, today we're going to dive in and just figure that out. Hi, my name is Devin, and welcome to Valor Insurance. Today we're going to talk about whether Progressive is a good fit for you or not. Now, before I really answer that, or maybe get to that point, I kind of want to talk about some of the rating factors that Progressive has that maybe you could use that as a tool to figure out if Progressive is actually a fit for you. So the first discount they start to give is actually at the age of 19. It kind of drops down a little bit, and then the next one's going to be 22, and then the biggest is going to be 25. I think that 25 is like around 9%, so it actually kind of helps out quite a bit. So the next rating factor is how you actually use the car. Whether you drive back and forth to work, commute, whether you just drive for pleasure, just going around the town. Do you use it for a business, or do you use it for a Shipt, Uber, Lyft, that sort of stuff? Because you want to make sure those are coverages on there. Now with your vehicle, Progressive doesn't really rate a lot on your miles that you use for the year. So they're not like, if you can drive 20,000 or 10,000, they're kind of rating you the same. It's more about how you use the vehicle is how they're going to rate you. Now the next thing you really kind of want to start to look at is like how clean your driving record is. So maybe if you're a clean driver, you got no tickets, no accidents, no nothing, well, maybe Progressive's not a good fit for you. And I know what you're kind of thinking is like, oh man, well that doesn't really make sense because, if I'm a clean driving record, I should really get a good rate. Well, I mean, yeah, that is the case, but Progressive is actually is a little bit more lenient on some tickets and accidents and claims than other companies. It's how they give it like a little bit better of a target market. They're not looking for the cleanest, best people in the world. They're just looking for like an average person. I mean, you might have a better than average, driving record, so that might make you not quite a fit. Michigan allows you to go back 5 years. There are a few companies that go back 3, but for the majority of them, they do go back 5. Now, when you're thinking about those tickets and accidents, whether you're 5 years clean or not, or 3 years, or whatever that may be for you, don't forget to also think about those not-at-fault accidents. Just because it wasn't your fault doesn't mean that it's not going to increase your rate. Now, I know you're really thinking like, hey man, like it wasn't even my fault, why should I have to pay for it? Well, the way the insurance company sees it is they still paid out quite a bit of money to kind of help fix your car. So they're going to want some of that back. So that non-at-fault accidents can still affect your rate. Now you're probably thinking, okay, so I got a decent age, I got mostly a clean driving record, I drive mostly back and forth to work. So what's the next factor I got to think about whether Progressive's a fit for me or not? Well, that's going to be your location. Now, here in Michigan, you'll notice quite a bit difference in you're getting quotes from like around the greater Detroit area than you are like maybe around Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, maybe even up in the UP. So I'm not saying that, Progressive is going to be the best fit for you in those areas. No company is really going to be the best over there, but I have noticed, me doing this for a while, that sometimes Progressive really doesn't do the best over there in that greater Detroit area. There are other companies that actually do really well, auto and home, and I've seen rates like really well. Progressive does like intermediate. I mean, they're more of the middle line, and that's just kind of where they are. But if you're on the west side of the state, I've seen good competitive Progressive rates for you. Now that we got kind of a location, age, and all that stuff figured out, the next thing we got to kind of think about is coverages, whether Progressive is a good fit for you. Progressive isn't going to be one of those companies that give you a lot of bells and whistles, like accident forgiveness and stuff like that. They do have it, and it's part of their loyalty program. To get that, you got to be with Progressive for 2 consecutive years, and then you also had to be claims free for 3 years. So there are some hoops that you got to go through to actually get the accident forgiveness. The one coverage that they do have that's not a lot of people know, that if you have collision coverage on there, you get like $1,000 for pet. So maybe if your pet gets hurt in a car accident, you get $1,000 to help take them to the vet. Whether you have state minimums or not can also affect your Progressive rate. When you drop down to state minimums, it's actually a higher rate than having higher coverages. If you are one of those people that just want to have those lower coverages, it might not be the best fit for you. But if you do want those higher coverages, Progressive loves that and actually gives you extra discounts for that. Insurance score is another big factor. Progressive really doesn't rate very hard on how your insurance score is. So yeah, having that higher credit score doesn't mean that, Progressive may not be a fit for you. It's just that maybe actually some other options that do a little bit better for you, maybe give you a little bit better discount for having a higher insurance score. So it's something to kind of think about there to see if Progressive is a good fit for you. Now, if you do have a lower credit score, insurance score, it actually might be a good fit for you because they don't rate very hard on it. So it actually could probably benefit you because those other companies might not do so well for you. One of the biggest rating factors in Michigan is whether you had 6 months of insurance or not. You know, Progressive rates this pretty hard, just along with everybody else. Now, the one nice thing about them too is if you've been with your prior company for at least 5 years, they actually give you a really good discount. So who really is a good fit? So somebody who's a younger driver who hasn't maybe developed a credit score yet or has a lower credit score. The other good thing you can also look at too is somebody maybe be able to pay in full. They got the largest paid in full discount out there. Somebody who doesn't mind having the higher limits. That's somebody that's going to be a really good client for Progressive there. Now, the opposite is true if, it might not be the best fit. I'm not saying they won't be, just maybe a better option. So you guys are interested to see if Progressive is a good fit for you and compare it maybe to a few other companies? Click on the link below and you guys can fill out a quote and get a quote from multiple different companies at once. The next thing you guys probably want to know is, what about the different coverages? What kind of sets Progressive apart? If you guys want to see that video, click on the link below up here, and I will see you guys next time.